Hello everyone and welcome back. So this is a TV. It's not mine, but as you can see it's pretty plain. Not very interesting. And this is a snail. Quite interesting to look at. So I was thinking I want to make a couple snails, or a few, and put them on my TV to make it a little bit more interesting to look at, you know? So let's make that. So this is everything I used. So making a snail is pretty straightforward. All you do is get a thick noodle of clay and just shape it into whatever positioning you want the body to be in. And for the first one, I just wanted it to be flat because that one's going to be sitting right on top of my TV. And I'm just pinching out the edges. And then I am going in to form the mouth. Now I'm using my smaller ball tool and I'm just gonna be pushing that all over the body of the snail. Then I'm gonna be using my bigger ball tool to just break up that sameness. Now I'm using my silicone shaper to just put in some indentations along the edges of the snail. And then using that same tool to define underneath the mouth of the snail. For all of the shells, a ball of aluminum foil gets wrapped with some clay, and I just form them into whatever shape I want them to be in. Now I'm just pressing out the inside of the shell just so it sits nicely on top of the snail, and just making a little swirly, slowly defining that until it's nice and smooth and well rounded. For all the shells, I just use a thicker wire to attach the shell to the body. I do this just so it doesn't fall off while I'm handling it. I'm pretty clumsy. I just wanted to make sure it wouldn't fall off. I did two ways to make the eye stalks. First one is to roll out a small noodle of clay and just attach it to a bit of wire and then just poke that into the head. The second way I like more, and I do that for the rest of the snails, and I'll show you that later in the video. And I'm just blending that out right there. And it looks fine, but the second way I do it does look better. So I use this chameleon powder. I got it off Amazon and I can link it below. And I use the green-red color. But first I'm going in it with my chalk pastels. I've had these since college and you can see you don't really use a lot of it at a time. So they last a while. So I'm going on top of the body with the black color and just keeping to the top part of the body. I want the translucency of the translucent clay to show through. And now I'm going in with the powder, and that gives it a nice green to red color shift. Then I just wipe off some of the excess off the edges of the snail. I want a little less of the pigment to cover up the edges. All the snails are pretty much made the same, so I'll just use this time to talk about a comment I had in a previous video. Someone was asking, how did I get into sculpting? So I started sculpting when I was in my freshman year of college. I went to art school, and back then the only videos you can find on YouTube about polymer clay were how to make miniature food and dolls. After watching a couple of videos, I got some clay. I got the colors white, black, brown, and a glow-in-the-dark color. So So the tools I used at the time were just an X-Acto knife and a toothpick. I would try and sculpt little things here and there. It wasn't anything crazy. It was all really tiny scale. I wish I still had some that I can actually look back on. But from then on, I just dabbled with sculpting here and there. Oh, so here is the second option I did for the eye stalks. I just wrapped my thinnest gauge wire together. Then I just wrapped on top of that some clay and just poked that into the head. And then after it bakes, I can just move it around into whatever shape I want to. This way is the better way. And I use this, like I said, for the rest of the snails. But back to my story. My main focus during that time period was painting and drawing, so I wasn't doing that much sculpting. But it wasn't until the pandemic when I had the time to actually sit down and practice, and the results of that is what you see here today. I do have plenty of confidence in myself as far as my sculpting abilities. Even with all that practice, there are some things that I can definitely work more on. So even now, when going into a project, I will have an idea and I'm like, oh yeah, I can definitely do that. But I'll get all my tools out, get ready to sculpt, everything's ready, but then I'll be hit with an instant panic. Like, can I actually do this? I'm not really sure if I can. And I want to back out and not do it at all. But then I think, no, I've been thinking about this for months. I have to make it. Because if I don't make it, I don't stop thinking about it. Like, I need to have whatever the thing I've been thinking about in my head. I need it in my hands, or I need it in front of my eyes so I can physically see it and hold it in my hands. So I make it, and then I'm happy. And I'm always surprised. Once I have it in my hand, I'm always surprised. I can't stop looking at it. I'll usually just take it with me and go sit and look at it, or stand there and just stare at it, really. Because I'm always amazed. Like, oh my goodness, I did this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. A long way of saying a short way of how I got into sculpting and where I am now. So I'll quit talking about it and we can get back to the video. Oh look, they're all done. So now I'm painting the shells, a nice gradient between like this dark brownish black and this yellowy color. And I just kind of went back and forth over it until it looked like something that the snail might have on its back. And I think it looks pretty good. It really starts to come together once I start doing some dry brushing towards the end of a very pale yellow. And then this one is done. On to the next one. This one, I just wanted it to be a white, almost ghostly color or something. And then I just went on with this nice sienna color, and I thought it came out pretty nice. This one's pretty cute. And then I came back because the white was just too white, and I just went over it with like a yellowish wash and dabbed off the excess, and then went back in with the white dry brushing to hit the raised edges. For this one, I went in with the same color for the shell, but I dry brushed layers of white so that it kind of has like a worn look to it. And then this one's my favorite, and please let me know which ones you like. I wanted to keep it pretty translucent, almost like a little jelly snail, and I went in with some yellow and ochre color washes, dabbing off the excess. And and then going in with some white dry brushing. Not too much because I didn't want to distract too much from the yellow brownish colors. For the shell, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with this one. This one was the last one and I wanted this project to be done, but I was just going back and forth with colors and eventually I just colored it this brown color. I was going along the edges with a darker brown color, slowly mixing in some white with it to give it a softer gradient. But it still didn't look all that great to me, and in kind of like a panic to try and get this finished, I went over the whole shell with a copper color that I have, and it came out really good. I really like it. When you stand back, it looks like a croissant, so bonus. But after that, I just paint all the bodies with a couple layers of gloss varnish, and to stick them onto my TV, I just use some command strips. I didn't want anything permanent right now. Maybe in the future I'll do something more permanent, but for now, command strips does the job just fine. And with that, let's see the final results. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I hope you all enjoyed this just as much as I did creating this. Let me know what you all think. Would you do this yourself? But thank you all for watching and see you soon. Bye!